I'm Dawn Fiske. Welcome to Life Coaching on the Move. I'm really grateful that you've chosen to listen to this podcast today. I'm very conscious of the fact that there are literally hundreds of different podcasts out there available for us all these days, and the fact that you've chosen this one, I'm thrilled about. So it also makes me realise that you're the right audience, because it means that you are willing to open up your mind, you're keen to learn, you're keen to make some changes and improvements, which is perfect. That's just the person and the audience that I'm appealing to. So this is me. It's all raw and unedited. I don't script this. I don't edit it. I speak from the heart. So on many different subjects. This week's subject is slightly different in that I'm taking more of a preventative approach this week. Often it's about stopping doing things or changing things that we're doing in order to improve your life and improve how you're thinking and feeling in life. This one is about stopping certain things and throwing certain strategies in advance so that you look after your mental health before any problems might set in. So slightly different approach this week. It's exciting and I hope it's useful. If it is useful to you, please share it with friends or people that you feel could benefit, because they may well be struggling with similar issues or be interested in similar topics, and may benefit in a similar way to the way that I hope you benefit from today. Rate and review if you could. That would also help. Please look at the website. There are loads of things going on the website and things available to you, such as online programs for you or your team members or a loved one that might help on the subject of time management, or a longer one on stress management. And also any day now I will be putting up for sale gift vouchers, Christmas gift vouchers, for you to buy for yourself if you want to treat yourself, or for you to buy for a loved one. So keep an eye on the website, www.milestone-coaching.co.uk. If you want to drop me a line ever with feedback or topic requests, or requests for one-to-one coaching, which I can do via Skype, FaceTime, phone, or face-to-face if you're local. If you ever want me to move you on to the next level, work with you one-to-one, then that would be absolutely possible, no matter what country you're in as a result. So drop me a line on any of those subjects. My email address is dawn@milestone-coaching.co.uk, or again, you can contact me through the website. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's crack on with this subject. A more preventative approach. Hope you enjoy it. Today, as often is the case, I'm going to start with a question. Well, actually, I'm going to start with the answer. If the answer is 58 million, what do you think the question is? This is a bit like one of those quizzes on the comedy quizzes that we get. So 58 million is the answer. What do you think I am asking about? Well, the answer is, and this may stagger you, it certainly blew my mind, 58 million is the number of antidepressants that the NHS prescribed in the UK last year. 58 million antidepressants, which I just find phenomenal. So I thought, with that little fact, I would talk about how maybe we could begin to nip that in the bud before it kicks in. What I'm talking about here now is it's autumn time at the time of recording. We have just had phenomenal rains, rain after rain after rain for the last God knows how many days and weeks. It's colder, it's darker in the morning, it's dark, the nights are drawing in. It's that time of year. The winter is round the corner. And I know from coaching for the last 17 years that this time approaching now is my busiest time in terms of one-to-one private coaching, one-to-one individuals who come to me feeling low. They've lost their mojo, they've lost their direction, they've lost motivation, they're just low and they don't know what they're doing, and I need to shake something up, don't know what's wrong with me. can I have a coaching session to sort of get back my mojo and my oomph in life and the fire back in my belly, whether it's about work or social life or just life generally. So I thought I would do this podcast today about how, as the weather is turning, as that season is approaching, how we can put strategies in place in order to avoid that kicking in. Because I think, a bit like the NHS, if we can prevent rather than cure, it's going to be better for us. It's going to be less costly for us in so many ways. And, none of us want the winter looming and know that oh God, it's that time of year. I'm gonna feel low. Clients say to me, I'm approaching the winter and I always go low in the winter. I always suffer in the winter. I dread it, etc. And that's almost a mindset. They've almost given into that. They're almost giving themselves permission in advance. They're expecting it to happen. They're resigned to that fact. Brace themselves, ready for it, and just allow it, rather than questioning it, or rather than being mindful of it and thinking, what can I do to help myself in order to minimize it or even prevent it? So for today, I thought we would cover a few strategies that you can be aware of in advance, put in place, a few tools in order to head that off. So it's not your reality, because I do not believe it has to be our reality. So 58 million antidepressants, we don't want that to be us, if we can. Now, I'm not talking about proper clinical depression. That's totally different. I'm talking about basically the winter blues. Now, I believe, and I've seen this over and over again with clients, I believe at the root of this, one of the big factors that's causing this potentially for many of us is lack of vitamin D. It's lack of vitamin D, it's lack of sunlight, it's lack of daylight, it's lack of going outside. And so many of my clients this time of year stop going outside. I'm working with one client about getting his confidence back, getting back his health and fitness and his confidence, etc. But his words were, well, I don't go cycling anymore because it's raining, because the weather's turning. And that does genuinely shock me. It does genuinely puzzle me, because I don't believe that. I still go out walking for hours with the dog, still go out running in all weathers. No weather prevents me. In fact, actually, the one weather that I hate running in is the heat in the summer. It's just too hot. I love running in the wind and the rain, and in the mud in the woods and stuff like that. It's a mindset, it's a mentality. Because I tell myself I love it and come on, bring it on, just change the gear, put some gloves on, put another layer on. I can take a layer off and tie it around my waist if I get too hot, but put a woolly hat on if it's etc. That's all that needs to be done. A waterproof sort of running jacket, and the proper material that isn't heavy, the running gear, then you're fine. Same with cycling, same with walking with the dog. Just put wet weather gear on. Most things you can do it outside. It's just you need to change your weather gear, your clothes. So I see that as an excuse. I honestly do think that's an excuse. But we give ourselves this mentality. We stop walking to the bus in the winter. We stop walking from the tube to work, or things like that. We change our behaviour. We avoid going out. I'm not going out. Look at that weather out there. We cry off from things. We postpone things and so on. But why? What, we just need an umbrella, or we need a coat, zip up, etc. And with that behaviour, and I'm not judging it and saying it's wrong, I'm judging it insofar as I'm saying it's unhealthy, because what's now happening, we stay inside. We start to avoid going out. We stop having those walks. We're no longer mowing the grass. We're no longer out watering tubs and plants. Of course, we're no longer having pub lunches outside or anything like that. But most things we can carry on. Most things, in fact, we need to carry on doing. We still need to go out for a walk at weekends and a cycle ride and stuff. Because if we don't, and we stay inside and we stay in bed, and it's nice to have a lie-in on a Sunday and read the papers or have a nice cup of coffee or whatever. Don't get me wrong, there's a balance. But it is important. It is key to life that we still go outside. Sunlight, daylight, fresh air, oxygen, and being in a bracing wind, it's life force. Every plant and every animal needs and requires the sunlight and daylight in order to survive. It's survival. It gives us vitamin D. It gives us that vital vitamin to keep our mood up. Vitamin D is the vitamin that is most related to our mood. So if we stop going out from this time of year onwards, we start avoiding things and we start stay inside in artificial heat, artificial light, taking the bus more, taking taxis, driving and things like that more, then we are depleted in vitamin D. Our reserves start to drop from our holidays and the sunlight through the summer. It's around nowish, especially with the turn of the weather, that it starts dropping in our body. And before long, before we know it, we are in negative amount of vitamin D. We're depleted, we're lacking it, and that's when our mood starts to drop. So we need to continue to go outside. And if not, in fact, continue, we need to increase the amount outside because the sun is lower, it's weaker. And so we need to be outside in daylight for longer to get that same vitamin D boost. So it doesn't have to be a direct sunny day. Don't think, well, it's not really sunny, it's cloudy today, there's no point, it's cloudy and raining. Yes, you still get vitamin D from daylight. It doesn't have to be direct sunshine. It just needs to be daylight on our hands and face, i.e. our skin, for a good 20 minutes in order to just boost those levels in our body. So the one thing to do through the winter is don't give in to the weather. Don't let the weather dictate to us. Don't be a victim of the weather, because that's all it is. Master it. Get yourself now. Go and treat yourself. Go to one of these outdoor shops, or Amazon or whatever, and get yourself a good waterproof coat while the sales might be on, while they're cheaper or whatever, and maybe some waterproof trousers even, and some walking boots or whatever you need. Get the gear so that is not an excuse. You've got the gear. And commit meeting a mate for a walk, or borrow somebody's dog, or go out cycling and do it. Don't give yourself an excuse, because that is why we get the low-level seasonal affective disorder. It's directly because of lack of vitamin D. It's also lack of exercise, because exercise, we often stop exercising this time of year. We start going to Christmas parties, start socialising, drinks parties, those sorts of things. We're busy Christmas shopping, we're busy preparing and all of those sorts of things. And so exercise also goes out of the window. Now, I love gyms. There's nothing wrong with gyms and classes and workshops and circuits and things like that. But of course, they're often indoors. So we also need to do some outside exercise. So we need to maintain the exercise through the winter. If not maintain it, again, increase it even more, because through exercise, you release your own endorphins, the feel-good hormones, and those feel-good hormones also balance your mood. They're your natural mood lifters. So by doing these two things, so making sure you continue to get good amount of daylight per day, or several times a week, a good amount, go for a nice bracing walk at lunchtime, or still walk to the bus, or go for a nice long walk at weekends to increase it. Vitamin D is the only vitamin that we can store in the body. The rest of the vitamins, we get our daily amount, and then we excrete what we don't need. Vitamin D, we don't. We can store it. So you could go for a long bracing walk, or a good football match, or rugby match, or something like that on a Sunday or something, and have a good hour and a half. So you've boosted it for a few days. But make sure you build into your routine going outside, no matter what. And actually, you feel great. You feel really humble, very proud of yourself, a little bit smug, and you're entitled to that. Pat yourself on the back. So with that, also do exercise. So if you can do the two together outside, exercise outside, then you're killing two birds with one stone. If you do go to a gym, great, you are still having that exercise, you're still getting your endorphin release, so you're still maintaining your feel good natural hormones. So that too will help you combat those winter blues and that loss of mojo. Laughter all of these things are things we've talked about on the podcast. But what I'm saying on this podcast in particular is you need to now consciously work these into your daily routine, because we're vulnerable in the winter. We are vulnerable for dipping. Our mood is likely to dip, and we don't want that. We don't want that. So we need to up all of these strategies. So we need to build in some laughter into our life. We need to go and meet that friend that always makes us have a giggle or cheers us up. We need to seek out comedy, funny things, light spirit, an atmosphere that always makes you laugh or lifts your mood, because laughter itself also releases endorphins. It also lifts our spirit, makes us feel much, much better. We need to do all of these things before that low mood kicks in, because often I find with clients, once that low mood has started to kick in, we almost allow it to happen. We're on a downward spiral, so we start withdrawing a little bit socially, start hibernating a bit, drawing the curtains in the evening and staying in, avoiding the phone calls, avoiding the socials, cancelling, postponing, dipping out of going to the gym, not bothering to go to that class or circuit or whatever it is. So we're almost allowing those things to deteriorate and go from our life. It's often in the spring when we naturally start to feel better, because ironically we're getting accidentally we're getting a vitamin D boost. We start to feel better, then we start to exercise. It needs to be the other way round. The laughter and the socializing needs to come first to make us feel better, not wait for March, April when we're beginning to feel more cheerful. Oh, I might go to a party, I might throw a party, I might invite people around for dinner and see a few mates, or catch up on my old friends, or send them a message and put something in the diary. Then we've given in and we've resigned, and we've suffered and struggled through the winter. What this is about is putting it at the forefront of our mind, managing it, using them as strategies in order to avoid this setting in. So maintaining the social calendar, very good for the soul, very good for the spirit. We need others. We need to connect. Isolation, putting people into solitary confinement was seen as a punishment. It is seen as a form of torture, because we need connections, we need relationships. So more than anything in the winter, turn to others, turn to loved ones. Don't withdraw. So we've covered so far, we must get outside more, not less. We must exercise more, not less. It's perverse really, because these are the things we normally let slip. We need to socialise more and connect with people, not less, laugh more, and so on. So these are self-help techniques to throw in advance of that mood deteriorating. So the other thing, of course, is your mindset. We've talked a lot on these podcasts about the right mindset. Don't give in to it. Don't let yourself say the words of, oh, guys, winter's coming. Oh, I feel low. Don't give in to that language, that mindset. Welcome it. It's Christmas is coming. The socials are coming. The drinks parties, the office parties. When that's out of the way, New Year's coming. We've got New Year's bash, whatever. Just welcome it, embrace it, and see it as positive, even if you don't feel it. Remember, we've talked about how you can trick yourself. You can say the right things, and therefore it has an impact, and it makes you feel that way. So say these things. Don't give in to that doom and gloom mindset. And remember, somebody I read or somebody said to me once, it is a really sunny day out there today. It's just that the clouds are in the way of it and you can't see it. But behind those clouds, the sun is beaming. And that's all we've got to do, really. We've just got to imagine it is a sunny day. And don't allow that mindset to affect you. Because if we feed ourselves slightly depressed, sort of internal chatter, is going to make us feel eternally fed up and low. We often just encourage it with our mindset. We've got to change that. Seeing the good, seeing the positive. I mean, today we have had a series of days of rain. Today is gloriously sunny. The leaves are just turning in beautiful colours. I'm sat in a lay-by actually waiting for a meeting, recording this, and it's absolutely gorgeous looking around the woods and the trees at all the different colours. So if we can make ourselves see that, make ourselves appreciate that and notice it, lifts our spirits, rather than concentrate on all the rain that we've had. We've got to look for the good, look for the upbeat and the positive to keep us feeling that way. We can't lead a positive life if we're in a negative mindset. You just can't do it. If you're in a negative mind, you can't have a positive day. It just doesn't go together. So trick it, tell yourself some good things, say positive things outwardly. You talk about the good weather. How are you? Yeah, I'm great, thanks. Just change your language, change your approach, and do that through the winter. Don't give in to it. Now, I a couple of podcasts ago talked about how we can end this last quarter of the year on a high. This is going with that, actually. We're still in the autumn. Hopefully, if you're listening to this as it's recorded, it's still there's sunny days. It's still lots of chance for there to be further sunny days yet. So what I'm saying is, for us to end this year on a high, you need to be in the right mindset. You need to be in the right mood. We need to avoid that winter blues. Can't end the year on a high if you've got seasonal affective disorder kicking in, a low level depression. So my key takeaway for you this year, to support that end 2019 on a high, start 2020 on the front foot, not the back foot, not catching up, not trying to lose that weight you've gained, not trying to lose that fitness that you've lost, not trying to get back that mood that you've allowed slip. I want you to end the year high and strong and focused in 2020. I'm with you on that. I'm behind you on that. I'm encouraging you. It is possible. You've just got to be aware of it, mindful of it, and do things in order to ensure that happens. You're in the driving seat. Again, my favourite phrase. So take these tips now while it's crucial. It's that perfect time of year to up them all. Make yourself get out, make yourself exercise, make yourself go out, put things in the diary, invite friends out for a walk, start it, go out for a walk at lunchtime tomorrow, at some point in the day, instead of drive to the shop, walk to the shop, those sorts of things. Only you can make this happen. Just imagine, though, what you will get as a result. If you can stave off the winter blues, get through it really well, really mentally well, and on top of your mood and with your mojo and still focused, still enthusiastic, still energetic, it's going to be a better winter, which means you'll start better in the spring. We don't have to let the winter blues be our reality. We do not have to allow that. And these tips will definitely help you to help yourself stave them off. And spread the word, spread them to your friends, and get them to do them with you. Get them to listen to this and then jointly do it together. So prevention is the best way forward. Don't wait till it's kicked in. So start now, start strong. Email me if you've got any questions. Email me if there are any subjects you want me to cover. dawn@milestone-coaching.co.uk. Visit the website for all sorts of things. I have a workshop. I'm not sure, you may have missed the date for the workshop. Realise Your Potential. October the 13th if this goes out before then. So have a look at the website if you're local and want to come along to that. There are many other things on the website, so have a browse through at the blog and things like that. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please share it, spread the word, share it on your Facebook or something so that others can benefit too in the same way that you have, so that more people feel better through the winter, more people end on a high. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you again. Thank you for choosing this podcast. I'm looking forward to talking to you on the next one. Have a good, strong week and get out there. Enjoy it. Take care.